So, yeah, no, I mean, I said basically, you have to say to the other partner, this isn't part of our agreement, got to communicate. But I mean, I don't know what comes out of that. I think it's a very hard situation.
Now, I was just going to say, isn't it better just to, because I know that we're all ready to go to the psychiatrist. So here you're giving a situation to children that is so hard to, you're negotiating, two adults are negotiating with families, so there's a lot of other people involved, and here are, let's say, one child, and you're trying to pour all of this into one child. That's a disaster.
No. No, because when you say it's a disaster, first of all, the worst case scenario doesn't always happen to every kid. Some people are raised in interfaith families, and they have unambiguously Jewish identity, and they're working in the Jewish community now. When I go to call for Jewish books or to call to other Jewish organizations and say, hi, I'm calling from interfaith family, they say, oh, you know, I was raised in an interfaith family, and now I'm working at Foundation for Jewish Camp. Now I'm working at, you know, because actually there are a lot of people who are working in the Jewish community today who are raised in interfaith families. They're really committed. Yeah, it's much easier to say, just marry someone Jewish, that would be much easier. But you know what? Even though you could say that, but people, first of all, are already married. Sometimes you're talking to their children who are already there. So you gotta figure out a way for them to be part of the community too. Especially because, you know, you look at the person and you're like, wow, great, I'd love to have you at my house for Shabbos dinner because you're Jewish, you bring my Jewish child. And the person's like, well, you know, I have a non-Jewish parent. What are you gonna say, don't come? Come on, you know? So we gotta be thinking that way. You know, if you have somebody in your community who has more than one cultural heritage, is that like terrible and a disaster, or is it fun? I mean, I think that there's a way that this can work well. And we have to keep setting up the conditions to make it work well and not get all the worst case scenarios. Whatever we can do as a community to be supportive to make this work out, that's going to be good for us. Because we're going to get all those kids, right? And if we're only kind of like, oi, which we're very good at too, you know. Second marriages that are interfaith, we have stuff on the site about it. I mean, we have had people talk about that. Not a lot, though. But, I mean, we actually had one person who had her second marriage was to someone Jewish. She and her husband both had first marriages that were to non-Jews, and they had a different set of problems. She's written for us a lot. She's a good writer. And the problems are crazy, where she's like she raised these children with Christianity, and then she's Jewish now, and they're like, Papa, we can't have Christmas with you. And they're adults. So that's a different, you know, that's a different thing. I don't know, what kinds of issues do you think that we should hit here?
Mostly the cultural ones, but, you know, grown children and both sides of, you know, marriage, the ones that are Jewish and the ones that aren't, you know, the traditions carried out on both sides of the family, somewhat like what we were describing earlier, with the Jewish holidays being Christian holidays and so on. And you have an interfaith marriage, those things are happening in your house.
Yeah, I mean, I think she was talking about how, you know, when you have little children and you have living grandparents and relatives, it's really easy to talk about having the Jewish holidays at the Jewish family's house and the Christian holidays at the Christian family's house. That works well. But when you have a second marriage and you have grown children and maybe elderly parents, I was talking about, one of our articles was is a woman whose husband converted to Judaism, and she's Jewish, and her mother-in-law's not Jewish, and she's old, and they want to make Christmas for her. What are you going to do? You can't not make Christmas for her. I mean, I feel like some of this is, for me as a Jewish person who really wants to link Jewish ritual to Jewish values, that you have an opportunity to impart Jewish values as you are providing Christmas for the grandmother. Because you're saying, we love our grandmother, and we respect her, and we take care of her. Do you know what I mean? So like, I just feel like there's a way to do it that acknowledges that this is her tradition and we're doing this for her. You know, you say Merry Christmas to somebody in the same way you say Happy Birthday. It's not your birthday. It's their Christmas, it's their birthday. You're happy for them. The decorations are nice. You still enjoy the cake even though it's not your birthday. That's how I think about it. This is not my experience. I grew up in a same-faith family. I married into a same-faith family. And the biggest issue in my family is like, you know, what tunes you sing in the Passover Seder. I got my husband's family to sing my tunes. But, you know, it's not the same. And I'm looking at I read these stories pretty much all the time. Like every day I get the stories and I'm kind of like, wow, that is really hard. So to the extent possible, I'm relating what other people have done and has been effective. But to me, I mean, my thought is always, you know, communicate a lot. That's what all of our professionals who come on the site to give advice say. Communicate a lot, talk about your feelings, be honest, and speak to your values. And Jewish values are kind of the key to having Jewish identity. If you are the Jewish partner and you have a non-Jewish partner and you raise your child and the Jewish partner is a jerk, then the child probably won't identify as well. You gotta be a nice person, you gotta be, as they say in Yiddish, a mensch. It's not only ritual, it's also mensch in the back.
Can you talk about like opportunities to learn about Judaism for when a couple gets married and one isn't Jewish, and if they're not sure about converting, but you know they want to learn more before they make the.
This is like the favorite kind of program that people like to provide for interfaith couples, and I don't know what you have here in Cleveland, though I can find out through my site. I know that you have something through the JECC.
Called A Taste of Judaism.
A Taste of Judaism. So that's a program through the Reform movement. The conservative movement also has one. And I see hands. Did you do A Taste of Judaism?
We took one here. We took one at Siegal College.
Yeah, Intro to Judaism here, and it was really great. They do an excellent job.
Do they have anything like that in Chicago? Do you know?
Yeah. I can look it up on the site after everybody read it. I mean, one of the things is even conversion classes, when they have formal conversion classes, you do not have to convert. That's one of the good parts about Jews don't proselytize. Up until the last minute, if you're about to convert, you're just about to put your toe in the mikvah, they're saying you don't have to do this if you don't want to. So you don't need to feel like there's going to be pressure if you go to a class. And especially with A Taste of Judaism, they are really thinking about how to present it in just a factual way. And yeah.
What I find interesting is that not all interfaith couples involve children. And because the Jewish people are such a minority, not so much in Cleveland, but other places, I find that the Jewish partner is frequently treated as a novelty, as opposed to a human being.
The Jewish partner?
Yes.
Yeah, I have read people talking about this. There's a woman who runs a really terrific Judaica store in Atlanta called Modern Tribe, and she's in an interfaith marriage. And she wrote a blog post on her blog that she runs so that people will come and buy her Judaica, which is great stuff. She has a Texas Hold'em dreidel is one of her things that she sells. So she wrote this post about what it's like to go into a non-Jewish family as a Jew and experience the feelings of people from the majority culture toward you as a minority.